Hey, I want to do a video on my Unicron sound and light install. I got a lot of questions about how it was set up, and some people asked me to do a how-to kind of setup video, so I just want to explain. So first things first, in order to do this install, you've got to pull the kibble out of Unicron and pull the panels off, because I've already got these set up so you can just pop them off, so it'll be easier to kind of show where the electronics are. I've kind of got things pulled up here just so you can see what's going on. Inside of here is, you notice there's no Unicron inside of here, robot mode. This outer planet shell has been separated from the robot. There's a video that explains how to do it. You can find it. I'll see if I can put the link in below this video on YouTube. But basically, you 3D print this frame once you pull out the robot to support the outer shell. Then that gives you the space. I can't make electronics small enough and then figure out how to do wiring so that Unicron could actually have, you know, the lights up here and the wires there while they transform. So when they're split, you can actually have a separate physical robot and then separate planet mode. And that gives me the space to do that. So that's the first thing. You 3D print this. You can download the files for free off of Thingiverse, and I think some people actually sell the kits. And then that gives you the space to do it. Then, for the electronics, the brains of everything that I'm doing is I'm using a Circuit Playground Bluefruit CPB. And I like these because they're small, they're compact, you know, they got the LEDs built into them so that you can program them, and then you can do testing before you hook up an external programmable RGB strip. It's already got a sound sensor on it. It's got a lot of different sensors. And then also Adafruit does a good job of making the libraries. There's tons of example code. And a lot of the code that I use is just modified examples of things that I found online and just kind of spliced together. They've also got a built-in app. Well, not built-in, but an app you can download that has a control panel built into it. The library is set up pretty easy, so you can have buttons to control different functions, which is what I'm doing to use to control Unicron. So the other component is, this is a DF Player Mini, and I went with that just because they're cheap. And I found a CircuitPython library that hooks up to this, and I'm basically just using a UART serial connection to send commands. That way I don't have to worry about, you know, how many outputs I'm using on here. I can just trigger it via serial, and then I can kind of do whatever I want, and it's a lot more flexible. On the back is I'm just using a mini USB for power, and then if you look down, you can't quite see it. I'll show it a little later. There's a battery, basically just a cell phone battery pack, and that's what supplies the power for everything. Then right here is the speaker, and that's hooked up to the output of the DF Player Mini for the sounds. And then we'll rotate this around for the maw. So if it's closed, you know, it just lights up and it kind of looks like the movie, and it looks like Unicron's talking. If you open it up, you can actually see there's a ring here, and that's where the LEDs are. And I printed that ring out. It's actually made out of transparent resin, and then I painted it orange so that everything would kind of glow orange, and then it would also hide the programmable RGB strip. So I'm using WS2812Bs. And there's 7 individual LEDs on there, and that's what's creating the light. Then I'll rotate it one more time. Inside here, and I'm not going to take this panel off, but there's basically 7 screws. You pull this panel off, and then it opens. You can see them all. And then what I did was I slid the ring in. It's not even glued in. I designed it to kind of press fit. So it just is pressed in there. And then I just wanted this wire to run out of the side so that you couldn't see the wire coming out from the front. Then the wire runs inside. That runs to the CPB. And so the CPB is controlling the DF player and the sound. So basically the way the code works is it's really simple. There's Bluetooth connection that sets up. It connects to the app. Then you can go to the controller. And I'll show that in a minute too. And then you can play the sounds. It triggers a subroutine. First, it triggers the DF player to play, and then there's a subroutine for the lights. And basically, all the lights are doing is they're listening for sound. As the sound level goes up and down, as an output out of the microphone on the CPB, it dims and brightens the LEDs in time to the music, or whatever's being said. Then after a certain amount of time without sound, it shuts itself out, listens back for another input for the Bluetooth. So, you know, nothing super complicated. I had originally thought to try to have 2 speakers in here. I think there was a power problem. I'm still playing around with that. I mean, for me, the sound sounds fine with one. This is a 3-inch speaker. It's 4 ohm, 3 watts. Nothing fancy, but, you know, it sounds fine. So that's the basic setup. I'll see if I can just put this back together real quick and then kind of show you, because some people had asked, you know, are there different sound files? Yeah, I've got about 12 sound files on here, and just kind of go through some of the sound files and show you how the app connects. So I want to take a couple seconds and explain how the app works and the connection works. When you turn the power on the back, it's basically just a USB battery pack. It'll show the device, then you connect. And then you can collect controller, hit control pad, and go in. So this is the Adafruit Bluefruit Connect app. This isn't anything that I programmed. This is the default controller that comes with it. And then I've got 1, 2, 3, 4 up and down programmed with preset sounds. Left goes backtrack, right goes forward track. So if I hit the button, so you can see basically the sounds play that are programmed in. Like I can hit forward and go to the next track.
I have summoned you here for a purpose.
And that's basically how the app works. In the code, you know, you could program these buttons to play whatever sounds you wanted or have whatever functionality included with it. I'll just show real quick with the maw open, trying to keep this guy from falling apart because I didn't snap everything back together. So just so you can see what the lights look like when you hit the button. So right there you can see the strip and then you can see the lights. So that's why I did the ring, to kind of hide the lights, to kind of diffuse it. Doesn't perfectly hide it. You can still see that there's LED strips. I mean, I would like to have a completely uniform glow, but I didn't really have a perfect solution for that. But I think it still came out good. So that's the setup. That's the install. Let me just rotate this guy around real quick. Without all the panels, drop it on. So this is the last thing. On the back, at the bottom, you can just see there's a basic cell phone battery pack. And that's what's powering. And then you hit the button, it'll power on. Everything powers up. And then this is the resin printed panel I did with the upgrade kit. I tried to get the color right. Took a recommendation. It wasn't perfect, but I think it still looks pretty good. Some people 3D print them with a filament. I use a resin printer. So that's it. In the blog link below, there's the code, so you can get that, and then I'll be doing updates as I move along and, you know, see about doing the kit. I mean, it'll have to depend on, you know, if there's real interest. One, you could do this yourself if you wanted to. I mean, the components aren't that super hard to find. But the biggest trick for me is just going to be the time that it takes to put the thing together. Somebody wanted a kit and get an enclosure and make it simple. But there's some steps to be done, but I don't think it's anything super tricky. So, thanks for watching, and I'll continue with the updates. Have a good one.